let's talk about music, kind of. Now, this is part 2 to my Vocaloid history, whatever the fuck I'm gonna call this type of thing, and you're here to watch me. Now, I'm gonna give a quick refresher on Vocaloid. If you don't know what Vocaloid is, it is pretty much a vocal synthesizer program made to produce songs and, you know, sing songs. That's pretty much all of it's pretty much. It's pretty much an instrument, pretty much, that is, I think, highly well regarded in, like, I think anime spaces. I don't think it's, like, the best thing, but I think a lot of people who are, like, growing up with anime and shit like that know what Vocaloid is. Today we're going to be talking about Vocaloid V2. And this is definitely where a lot of people know a lot of the characters that are in this particular generation of Vocaloid. This is the generation where Hatsune Miku was birthed. So in early 2007, I believe they would show off V2, and this was the evolution of Vocaloid V1, or original Vocaloid, and they would debut or like show off a couple of the voice banks, and they would be their English voice banks of Sweet Anne, Big Al, and Prima. Now you're asking, wouldn't they do that with Hatsune Miku? Why didn't they show off Hatsune Miku? I don't know. They showed off the English voice banks, and one thing about the English voice banks, they did not sell very well. Now, Vocaloid at this point, I think, had more of an identity of what it was trying to do in this generation or era. Like, they knew this was supposed to be like for music, and the attention it was grabbing was immense for, like, at least the starting off. I think in the Western market it was higher than the Japanese market, which we think, like, Vocaloid, I feel like, is more Japanese orientated nowadays, or at least, like, has been more Japanese orientated, but it didn't do the best in Japan immediately. It kind of just picked up momentum over the years. So sometime later, Vocaloid V2 would release, and the first two Vocaloids available on this system was Sweet Anne and Hatsune Miku. So officially, Hatsune Miku is one of the, I think, the third voice bank that is of Japanese origin. I don't know why I phrased that so weirdly. She's one of the first Japanese voice banks, and Sweet Anne would be the first English voice bank of V2. In my other part, I talked about the first ever English voice banks, which were Leon and Lola and Miriam. Sadly, they kind of passed on, and they don't ever really come back in future releases. So Sweet Anne kind of takes over the English holder position, at least to start with V2. One thing to note is that Hatsune Miku was popular from the start. Like, literally, she was, like, I think, the boom that Vocaloid needed to get the attention it needed. If you don't know, like, Vocaloid is very big. Like, they had concerts, full-out events that people would attend and go watch Hatsune Miku be projected onto a screen and dance around and sing. They loved Hatsune Miku. That was like the Pikachu of Vocaloid. She even has some different things with Pikachu, and she's been, like, over the past, like, year or so, she's been partnered up with Pikachu and a lot of different Pokemon. In, like, the Voltage series, I believe it's called. They even released a song. Like, I don't. She is, I think, definitely a unique part of Vocaloid's media. Now, there are a lot of Vocaloids in this generation. I'm just going to go through them really quickly, hopefully a little bit quickly, but yeah, we're going to be getting through a big list. I'm going to give them, like, little side notes when I talk about them, but let's jump into it. First one, Sweet Anne. Don't have many opinions about Sweet Anne. I wasn't on the bandwagon that she was a good Vocaloid. Sorry, shoot me. Hatsune Miku, second one. I love Miku for opening the door for me, but definitely I'm, like, always the one who doesn't, like, love the, you know, mascot of the brand. Kind of 3 and 4, but they're a duo released voice bank. And a lot of people know of these two as well, Rin and Lin, our favorite clones / twins. They're paired off romantically a lot. I think it would not make sense if they were twins. Please stop saying they're twins. They're androids anywhere. Next one, Prima. Prima, I believe, was a very high-selling Vocaloid when she first released. I think. There might be some other. You might have to go read up on that. But I just I'm recalling from memory that Prima was a very high-priced Vocaloid that was like used a lot. She was actually one of the very first opera-orientated Vocaloids, and of course she was also another English voice bank. Gakupo or Gakupoid, voiced by a famous singer named Gakt. Don't know much about him, but I actually like Gakupo a lot. He's one of my favorite male Vocaloids. Luca, a lot of people know of Luca, and she's been a lot of featured. Also, a lot of these characters have been featured in the Project Diva Sega games that are released, sort of like rhythm games. And Luca is usually alongside Miku. Next one, Megapoid or Megumi, or her voice provider is named Megumi, and her name is Gumi. And Gumi has gotten a lot of love over the years. She has a lot of different voice banks, and she is like one of the more higher quality of Vocaloids. Next one, Sonica. She is a very, I think she was, at first she was very well-regarded English voice bank. Sonica doesn't really get that much love anymore after that, though. She had a good burst, and then she was just like, dead. SFA2 Mickey. Weird. I don't know what to say about her. She is a voice bank. Also another Japanese voice bank. Kayuki and Hayama Kyotaru. These two were released as a pair, kind of. I think they were like, they're separate, but they're like, they're paired off in a way. And Kayuki is supposed to represent a Japanese schoolgirl, and her teacher is Kyotaru. A very odd concept. I think they were actually tied to a different thing before they were voice Vocaloids, but I just know their concept is supposed to be like teacher and student, pretty much. Yeah. Big Al. Now, Big Al is a male English voice bank that exists. He's not one of the best quality ones. Definitely not. Him and Sweet Anne are actually kind of paired off a lot. His visuals are more like... Actually, both of their visuals are kind of like Frankenstein-like. I don't know. They're kind of odd. Sweet Anne looks like a pinup model, while he looks kind of just like weird. I'm sorry. Also in V2, Miku would also get an update which is called Append, which just release more voice banks for her, which are like either like sound different, like a different phrasing or different tones. And so an Append voice bank is more just like a variation of their voice. Next one would be Tonio, and Tonio is actually kind of a counterpart to Prima. Tonio is a male voice bank that is more opera-oriented. Next one would be Lily. Lily, I don't really have that much opinion on. She's actually pretty cool looking in concept. She has a very flat voice. She's one of another Japanese. Most of these are going to be Japanese voice banks, just so you know. But I still have love for her. Next one would be VY1. And VY1 doesn't really have a name. They do have names associated to them. I think it's Megumi for her. But VY1 is like a faceless, like, character, essentially. She's also another very high-quality voice bank out of the Vocaloid series. Gachapoi, which is a little green dinosaur. Yeah. My personal favorite, Nekomura Iroha. She is a very, just raw, good voice bank, in my opinion. I think a lot of her vocals are very solid, and I think she's a very high quality. She's also has a lot of to do with Hello Kitty. She's like, I think, a Hello Kitty themed Vocaloid. Udatane Pico, which is voiced by a Japanese singer named Pico, which is very, he's noted for having very high feminine vocals. Linden Room would also receive an append in this set, which is an update to them, which has different vocal tones and whatnot. And then our last one, which would be VY2, which is a male counterpart to VY1. And I believe his name is Yuki. I'm not too sure. I think it is, but yeah. Also, Kaito and Mako, I believe, would receive updates, but they wouldn't get like a different name. They would just have like an update in the system. But yeah, thank you for watching my part 2 to my Vocaloid history. This was V2. Bye.